Ethiopia's greatest musical legends. Today we're diving into the remarkable story of Bahta Gebrehiwot, how a farm boy from Tigray accidentally launched a musical career that would define Tigrinya music for generations. You'll understand how traditional church music shaped his sound, why his songs are still being covered today, and what his journey reveals about preserving cultural identity through music. Let me bring in someone who knows this story inside and out. Help me understand how someone with no musical ambitions ends up becoming a legend.
It's honestly one of the most fascinating origin stories in Ethiopian music. According to the Ethiopia Observer, Bahta Gebrehiwot was born in 1943 in Adigrat in the Tigray region. He grew up on a farm with 6 siblings, and music was already woven into his family life.
So, music was already in the household?
Absolutely. His family played traditional folk music at festivals and cultural events, using classic songs with the kebero drum. But here's what's really interesting. Bahta himself said, quote, "They performed better than me, in fact." So he wasn't even the standout musician in his own family initially.
That's incredible. So where did his formal musical training begin?
It started in church school, which was customary at the time. He said, quote, "My first musical beginning was at the church. I used to sing liturgical chant using instruments. This church foundation would become crucial to his later style."
And then he went to health college? That seems like a completely different path.
Right. After finishing grade 8, he moved to Gondar and joined the Gondar Public Health College for 3 years. He also took some short music and drama courses at government school, but his plan was healthcare, not music.
So what changed everything?
In 1961, when he was 18 and fresh out of college in Addis Ababa, the famous Ras Hotel band was looking for a vocalist. A childhood friend convinced him to apply. And here's the crazy part, he was competing against 70 other singers.
70 other singers. That's intense competition.
And he got selected as the lead singer alongside Girma Bayene. The Ras Hotel band was the first band to perform regularly at this fashionable hotel. They were fed and lodged full-time at the hotel, playing gigs on Fridays.
That sounds like an amazing setup for a young musician. Who else was in this band?
The band was stacked with talent. Bahta recalls that Tefera Mekonnen was the leader, a great pianist and arranger who instilled professional discipline. Zerdu Legacy played trumpet, Getashu Voldeselsi saxophone, Tilahun Yima bass guitar.
And these weren't just random musicians, right?
Not at all. Most of the band members came from the Haile Selassie I Theatre Orchestra, which was led by the renowned Armenian composer and conductor Nerses Nalbandian. He's widely credited for fusing traditional Ethiopian folk music with Western-influenced jazz.
So Bahta was stepping into this incredible musical fusion movement. What kind of songs was he performing?
In just a few years, he performed more than a dozen tunes that became regarded as standards. He sang in both Amharic and Tigrinya, which was significant for reaching different audiences.
Can you give us some examples of these classic hits?
Absolutely. Some of his most famous songs include Anchim Endelela, Sikai Zekal Eyu, Tesasateng Eko, Degmo Endmin Alesh, Gizye, Wede Harar Guzo, Evnet Yet Lagnesh, Milas, and Bemigno Al Norem.
Those titles sound beautiful. What made these songs so special?
What's fascinating is the collaborative process. Gebreab Teferi used to write Amharic lyrics for Bahta, while Bahta himself wrote the Tigrinya tunes. So he was actively creating in his native language while also performing in Amharic.
That bilingual approach must have been groundbreaking at the time.
Exactly. And the timing was perfect. According to the Ethiopia Observer, his music became radio hits just at a time when radio was becoming accessible to wider audiences. So his reach was expanding dramatically.
So he was riding this wave of new technology and musical fusion. How long did his active career last?
According to Discogs, he focused on his solo career after the band, but it ended in 1973 when he became an accountant and left the music industry. So his active period was roughly from 1961 to 1973, about 12 years.
Wait, he became an accountant? That's such a practical career shift.
It really shows how even legendary musicians had to make practical career choices in that era. But here's what's remarkable. Even though he stopped performing, his influence never stopped growing.
What do you mean by that?
The Ethiopia Observer notes that to this day, his music is being recreated and covered by younger musicians. And they add this interesting observation, often by musicians who are less talented than him.
That's a pretty bold statement, but it speaks to his lasting influence.
Absolutely. And you can see this influence in the modern music scene. There are YouTube videos of contemporary Tigrinya artists covering his songs like Sky Skeal Eyu, described as delivering powerful feelings of love and heartbreak through expressive vocals.
So his emotional style is still resonating with today's generation?
Exactly. The page content describes how these modern covers connect strongly with today's generation of Tigrinya music lovers, perfect for late-night listening and remembering loved ones. His emotional authenticity transcends generations.
And I imagine there's a collector's market for his original recordings?
Oh, absolutely. According to Discogs, his vinyl records are now selling for significant amounts. His Gizye Tesasateng Echo single is listed from $177, while Tesasateng Echo Ayalkem Tedenko ranges from $9 to $23.
$177 for a single record. That's serious collector territory.
It really shows how his work has gained value over time. His music appears on major compilation albums too, like the Ethiopics series and the very best of Ethiopics, Hypnotic Grooves from the legendary series.
Those Ethiopics compilations are legendary for preserving Ethiopian music. What does it mean that he's featured on them?
It means his work is considered essential to understanding Ethiopian music history. According to Rate Your Music, he's classified in the Tizita genre, which is a traditional Ethiopian musical form expressing longing and nostalgia.
Tizita, that's such a beautiful concept. How does Bahta's work fit into the broader context of preserving traditional music?
This is where it gets really interesting. The Eritrea Ministry of Information explains that traditional music in Eritrea and Ethiopia is essentially oral in character, transmitted from generation to generation through performance.
So it's all about keeping these traditions alive through actual performance?
Exactly. And the ministry notes that this music has the power to reflect historical and social episodes, songs of patriotism, victory, love, all with wonderful melodies and lyrics. Bahta was part of this tradition.
It sounds like music serves multiple purposes in this culture beyond just entertainment.
Absolutely. According to the ministry, in traditional society, music served as a means of communication and was closely integrated with social life. Society used music to praise, to advise, to warn, and to criticize.
So Bahta was working within this rich tradition of music as social commentary?
Right. And the ministry mentions that lyrics tend to be satirical and can subtly convey messages. Traditional songs are performed on social and cultural occasions like marriage, harvest, religious festivals. Every event has its designated music.
That's such a holistic approach to music in society. How does this connect to what we see today with artists covering Bahta's work?
It shows that his music has become part of this living tradition. Young artists aren't just copying his songs, they're keeping this oral tradition alive, adapting his work for contemporary audiences while maintaining the emotional core.
And there's academic interest in his work too, right?
Yes, according to academia.edu, there are research papers about him alongside other Ethiopian music masters like Tilahun Yime and Girma Bayene. There's even a tribute book to Tefra Mekonnen, his band leader, focusing on Ethiopian popular music and ethnomusicology.
So his work is being studied seriously as part of Ethiopian musical heritage.
Exactly. And what's beautiful is that this academic preservation is happening alongside the living tradition of contemporary artists covering his songs. It's preservation through both scholarship and performance.
When you step back and look at Bahta's entire story, what strikes you most about his legacy?
What's remarkable is how someone who stumbled into music accidentally created such a lasting impact. He bridged traditional Tigrinya music with modern arrangements, sang in multiple languages, and created songs that still move people decades later.
And he did all of this in just 12 years of active performance.
Right. From 1961 to 1973, he created a body of work that's still being discovered by new generations. His songs appear on streaming platforms, get covered by contemporary artists, and sell for hundreds of dollars as vintage vinyl.
It's also interesting that he chose to leave music for a practical career, but the music lived on without him.
That's the power of creating something authentic. Even though he became an accountant, his emotional honesty in those songs, rooted in church music, family tradition, and personal experience, continues to resonate.
So for listeners who want to explore Bahta's music, where should they start?
I'd recommend starting with Tessa Sateng Eko and Gizye. These are his most celebrated songs that appear on multiple compilations. You can find them on the Ethiopics series or streaming platforms like Deezer.
And for people interested in the broader context of this music tradition,
Look into the traditional instruments mentioned, the kebero drum that his family used, the kira bowl lyra, the wata single-stringed instrument. Understanding these instruments helps you hear how Bahta's modern arrangements connected to ancient traditions.
that's such a beautiful way to connect past and present. Bahta Gebrehiwot's story really shows how accidental discoveries can become cultural treasures.